The headline on News 24's landing page is worrying, especially in a world where geopolitically it is precarious in a South Africa where natural disasters, particularly what we're seeing on the eastern half of the country with unrelenting rain in the last 30 days in the KZN area, and the SANDF and particularly the South African Air Force have been used to help in disaster relief operations before. But News 24 reporting this morning that only that's number 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 military aircraft remain operational. That's 2 Gripen fighter jets, 1 Oryx utility helicopter, 3 Hawk trainer jets. That's out of a total fleet of 388 aircraft. So effectively, we're unprotected. The SANDF lacks the air support during combat operations. That's what we saw in eastern Congo just over a month ago. Our Navy patrols also without air support because all 24 Augusta Westland helicopters, according to News 24, have been out of service for over a decade. Kobus Marais, former Democratic Alliance spokesperson on defense, now an independent defense and political analyst. You and your questions to the various ministers of defense over the last few years have largely asked the same question. What is being done to capacitate the SANDF, all down to shrinking budgets, but coupled with that, gross negligence in spending? But just on this report alone, you must be worried that News 24 reports that only 6 military aircraft are operational to cover this Republic of South Africa, Kobus.
Good morning. Yes, it is a very, very concerning matter. I recall when I posed those questions, written and oral, over the last 10 years, that it was worrying at that stage. It is certainly a critical situation at the moment. One must remember there are from time to time some of the aircraft that are being flown, but in the greater spectrum, it is a concerning issue. There's no purpose in having, for instance, frigates that we know is not serviceable, and then to have some of the helicopters available that is normally only flying with the frigates. That means that is actually putting them out of service. The Oryx helicopter has been the workhorse. And although we know that there's been 2 that has been brought back in service, but the 2 have been flown up to the northern part of Zambia to be a part of a standby force in the northern part of Zambia for our soldiers in the DRC, for the unlikelihood that they would need them. But back at home, we still have got a very, very dire situation. Whether those figures that have been given in the article are still 100% the same, one can question that, but the bigger picture is we are in a dire state. Our airspace is not protected. Let's be honest about that. We do not have the naval capabilities. We only have there's been 1 frigate that has been sailing. We don't know to what extent it is fully serviceable. We have got the 3 multi-mission inshore patrol vessels, and then we know that our Rooivalk has been grounded now for a number of years. Now, what we obviously need is urgently an upgrade of both the Oryx and the Rooivalk to what I refer to as a Mark II version. So because we have got a constitutional obligation to protect the integrity of our country and secure the safety of our people, and we cannot do that at the moment.
Kobus, the President of the Republic has in the last 31 years not issued a declaration of defense before. We've largely used our military for peacekeeping operations and also to help with disasters and rescues. But in a very precarious world where Canada is purchasing defense radar systems from Australia to protect itself from the United States, Australia is looking to France to procure new nuclear submarines. It seems as if there's a growing ratcheting up of tensions worldwide.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where does
Yeah.
South Africa stand in a very perilous world? It seemingly we would not have the capability to defend ourselves.
Well, I think South African Defence Force most certainly not. And we know that's because of budget cuts, but because of many other, maladministration, wrong priorities, things like that. So they are still largely dependent on the technology of the past, and we know that the current and future challenges is based on newer technologies. So, what we need to do, and I've attended a conference a couple of weeks ago on public-private partnerships between the Defence Force and the South African defence industry. We've got a highly, highly, highly capable defence industry, and that's with regards to air, land, and sea capabilities. What the South African government must do, and especially the Defence Force and the Ministry of Defence, to put their pride into their pockets and to work with the South African defence industry. They've got highly capable technology and capabilities. I mean, just look at the drones that can fly 3,000 kilometers, that can do maritime air surveillance and patrols, and we do not work with them. Technology, the highest technology that has been exported from South Africa to the European Union and the rest of the world that assist those nations to improve their capabilities. Why don't we work with them? Yes, we know that budget is a huge problem, and we have seen in real terms an enormous decrease in budget, the last budget that was announced just now. So going on in that trajectory is just going to kill ourselves, proverbially speaking. Talking about the C-130s, aircraft and logistical support is critical for any nation, whether you're in active war or not. And given where we are in the DRC, we've got no logistical capabilities, and we have to charter in everything that we have.
Even in disaster response,
yes,
SANDF Air Force Oryx helicopters have been used in search operations, rescue operations, and currently we're seeing a heck of a lot of rain in the eastern half of the country. These helicopters could be used for search and rescue operations. A couple of questions about the presidential jet. Is the presidential jet being maintained? In this News 24 report, it says that the Inkwazi presidential jet in November was grounded because of incorrect paperwork. That even the president, unfortunately for him, has had to fly commercial airlines because even from time to time the presidential jet is out of operation.
Yes, that is a very sorry sight, and that's supposed to be the pack and brag of the capabilities of the Defence Force, but it shows, what is, in terms of the line functions within the Defence Force and the Air Force specifically, what kind of challenges do they have? Remember in the past when the Inkwazi was down, at least the Falcon 900 or the two Falcon 50s were available. Now, if they were also not available for the president to fly in, that is a very sorry sight. However, if you look at the utilization of air hours for flying hours, you will see that I wouldn't say most of the flying hours are used by 21 Squadron, but many of the hours are being flown for 21 Squadron. It means that the flying hours that we actually need to protect our country and our airspace and our maritime space are being used by 21 Squadron, which is the VIP squadron. But must remember, we've got the responsibility for an ocean area that is the surface is much bigger than our land surface. And we've got no capabilities on the water. And with the increased maritime traffic around South Africa, that poses enormous challenges. If we are attacked today, in a conventional way, we've got major challenges, and we will probably have to rely on international partners, which is also diminishing over the last couple of years that we can turn to.
Kobus Marais, really appreciate your time, independent defense and political analyst.